Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 508 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. What's going on? I hope that this finds you healthy, both mentally and physically. And I hope also that you're realizing that you don't have to be miserable, even when miserable things happen to you. It's not about what happens, it's about how you look at what happens. It's also about taking responsibility for the things you think, because like Michael Singer pointed out in The Untethered Soul, that's a book that I really enjoyed reading, but like he pointed out, you aren't your thoughts. You're actually the awareness of those thoughts. So you're the one in the background all the time observing those thoughts. It's so good to remember this because our thoughts are really what matter in this life. I mean, they can make us a victim or they can empower us. I had a really good example of it this last week. I was talking to my little sister Molly on the phone when I heard myself say, well, I can't decorate for Christmas completely yet because mom and dad, who don't celebrate Christmas, are staying with me Sunday night. It was kind of funny because as I said that, there was a pause from both of us because that wasn't true and we both knew it. So I quickly changed that statement so that I could make it true. I laughed and I said, wait, okay, I personally will not allow myself to full on decorate for Christmas because mom and dad will be here. She laughed and she said, exactly. So I took full responsibility for my decision to wait because I would rather wait a week to decorate than feel super awkward around my parents or have them feel super awkward. It's those little subtle statements we make sometimes just to ourselves that keep us frustrated and irritated and feeling like a victim. I mean, being with my parents is one of the things I love most in the world. They're great. But at one point, when I had the thought that I couldn't decorate because of them, I also had a moment of resenting them for even coming. I mean, that's how terrible is that? I mean, I was creating all of this in my head because I was playing the victim to my own thoughts. You see how we can create our problems in our life? I mean, it's really subtle and it's really easy to do without realizing it. But once I took responsibility for it being my choice instead of trying to blame someone else, I felt really empowered. I mean, I could have decorated. I chose not to. How many times a day do we do that without realizing, though? I mean, we say things like, I can't work out today because I'm too busy, or I can't lose weight over the holidays because of all the parties, or I just can't enjoy this because I have too many other things to do. When are we going to just take complete responsibility for the decisions that we make? We torment ourselves all the time when realistically, we decide every day what's the most important things and what's not. That's what it's all about. What we make a priority. What is the most important thing in our life? That's how we make decisions. My yoga instructor, Laura, told me the other day that her friend called her that morning and said, I really, really want to come to yoga class today, but I have so much to do. And Laura asked her, well, will doing yoga make you feel better or will it just add to your anxiety? And to which the girl said, well, today it's going to add to my anxiety. So Laura said, don't sweat it. We'll see you next week. You see, we make decisions all day, every day. And the peanut gallery, meaning the chatter in our head, will have a lot to say about everything we do or don't do. And taking responsibility for the decisions that we make, that's a great way of shutting that peanut gallery down, shutting down the commentary in our head. Because once I corrected myself and said, you know what, I'm not allowing myself to decorate, all the chatter stopped because I chose what I wanted to do. I also stopped blaming my parents and owned my decision because it was my choice. I mean, seeing my parents and not feeling awkward about it was more important than keeping my decorating schedule because I knew I could do it the next week. Accepting responsibility for the consequences of our decisions is one of the most empowering things that we can do. Now, some of you might be thinking, but you wanted to decorate and you should have been able to do what you wanted to do and your parents should accept you as you are. I get it. But this is a great example of Brooke Castillo when she used to always say this. She's from the Life Coach School. She said we should all over ourselves, and sometimes we should all over other people too. But you see, the reality of all of this comes down to our priorities. We each have our own priorities, and it's not any of my business how you line up your priorities and vice versa. But for me, family is one of my top priorities, and I try to work things around that. It doesn't always work, but it's what I shoot for. If you think about it, every decision we make, it's a choice, and it's a choice based on our priorities. And a lot of times our mind or the chatter in our head has a lot to say about those choices. And usually it's either beating ourselves up or beating someone else up that we think is the reason we made the choice. Taking ownership of the decisions we make allows us to stop being a victim to our decisions. My challenge to you today is to boldly take responsibility for every decision you make. Take ownership, and you'll notice your thoughts will be very different than if you blame someone else or worse, play victim to your own decisions. Share this with 3 people who deserve to level up their mindset. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.